In only 6 days' time. 6 days' time, the season does restart for us. Our first game is going to be away from home against Aston Villa. It's going to be a 4:15 UK time kickoff, so make sure you guys have that date booked. Have no distractions on that day. If your missus, your bae, or even your side chick want something to do with you, you tell them no. You put your phone away because the football season's coming back, you guys. And in today's video, I'm here to tell you my 5 Premier League Chelsea predictions for when the restart happens. And of course, before I get into things, if you like today's video, then I'm sure you guys know what to do already. Hit that like button. Today I'm going to be a little bit ambitious and go for 2,250 likes. So if you guys like this video, you know what to do. Without wasting no more time, we start with the first prediction today. And could home advantage finally work in our favour? Now, one surprising thing this season has been the fact that we've picked up more points away from home compared to picking up points at home. Now, there is a ton of reasons for this. There's context, there's insight. For example, when away teams come to the bridge, most times they're parking the bus, they're sitting deep, they're in their low blocks, and it makes it hard to break them down. But when we get to play away from home, well, teams tend to play a lot more open, and when the game's more open, it tends to favour us a lot better. But anyway, you guys, I do have a little bit of a theory that I'm here to explain to you, and I first started thinking of this theory seeing how the leagues have restarted in different countries. For example, in the Bundesliga, there were so many interesting facts that came out once that season did restart. For example, on average, there's about 2 minutes of extra football on the pitch. That's because most times when you watch a game, you guys, there's so much distractions. Balls are getting kicked off the field, referees wasting time sorting out players, substitutions, etc, etc. We're seeing that there are less fouls committed in games. And another interesting fact is that referees are now able to control games a lot better. Of course, that's due to a combination of players, encouraged to not get close to the referees to keep some respectable amount of social distancing. If you're asking me, I personally feel like the lack of fans in the stadium has made things a bit easier. Now there aren't tens of thousands of people screaming at the referees, screaming at players to get things happening. At the end of the day, we're all human beings. Our output is affected by our confidence. The more confident we feel, better we are at performing tasks, expressing ourselves, etc, etc. The lack of fans means that there's less emotion in the game, and I think the emotion, the passion side is something that we don't really focus on or speak about too much in football, but that's like the one big thing that dictates everything we see. Now, I'm not hating on Liverpool, but imagine they didn't have the Kop fans at home. How many penalties would they have conceded? How many refereeing decisions would have gone against their favour? You can't tell me that the crowds doesn't feed the emotions of the game. So bringing this back to us, one thing I've noticed this season, especially at home, is the amount of individual mistakes that we've made. We've made countless big mistakes in games that really cost us games. For example, with Kepa in goal, either defensive mistakes, midfield mistakes. Also, the attacking players not taking their chances as well. We've seen it time and time again. And a part of me feels like it's the pressure that a lot of these guys are feeling. Maybe especially the younger players who are finally getting the opportunity to fulfill their dream, to play in front of the Stamford Bridge faithful, in front of 42,000 spectators. I think it's safe to assume that a lot of these players are going to feel that unspoken pressure. Maybe due to the lack of home fans, this could help players out in particular that are now coming back from long-term injuries. Players like your Rubens, your Pulisic, your Hudson-Odois, etc, etc. When they now play football again, there isn't going to be that expectancy on them, They're saying that the field of games that have been played throughout different leagues have been more like a training ground game, so I guess that will make things even easier for these players to acclimatise and to fully get back into the full speed of things. So you guys, that's my first prediction. I think that we can take advantage of playing in front of no fans basically. It sounds like I'm saying something absolutely disgraceful, apologies for that. But we now move on to the second prediction. Lampard's strongest 11 is going to be completely different. Now, throughout the season, Lampard has never had the opportunity to really work with a full-strength squad and full-strength team. We've had constant injuries every single time, really affecting Lampard's long-term planning and long-term preparation. But for the first time ever, Frank Lampard finally has the opportunity to work with a full-strength team. This effectively means that every player that showed form previously, well, that doesn't really count for anything. We need to remember that this suspension period was basically the equivalent of 2 off seasons. 2 off seasons. There hasn't been football for 3 months, you guys, and Of course, players have been looking after themselves, they have been keeping fit, but that's not the same thing as being fully match fit and fully matched up. They're two completely different things. That's a lot of training that you have to do in the actual training grounds, working alongside the manager on tactical instructions, etc, etc. So in that sense, the Premier League restart is basically kind of like its very own mini Premier League. Literally everything becomes reset, even the players that were in the first team beforehand. Now it goes back to square one. If you want your place in the first team, you need to perform hard in training, you need to work hard, you need to prove to Frank Lampard why you need to be in that first team. We now move on to my third prediction, and that's that Loftus-Cheek is basically going to guarantee us a top 4 finish. Now, I know that you guys might be thinking, Nini, I know that you love Ruben, I know that you stan Ruben, you're a complete fanboy, just calm it down a bit, yeah, it's getting on my nerves. You guys, I can't calm things down whatsoever. I've been telling you for a while now that Loftus-Cheek is fully fit, and I just keep hearing more and more positive things about how he's been training, how he returned back, etc, etc. For example, once Loftus-Cheek actually returned back to the squad, he was so much ahead of other players during this lockdown period. You know, he literally blew them away with his fitness, and that's because he's been dedicated since he got his injury. He's been working so hard. His professionalism is on a different level compared to most players in the squad, and he is currently miles ahead in fitness and his preparation. So a massive credit goes to Loftus-Cheek, because this player has suffered so many unfortunate incidents in his young career. For example, his back spasms in his lower spine, that's really affected him. He's got that ever since he was 17 years old. But Loftus-Cheek is a guy that constantly looks to solve his problems by finding solutions. What did he do? How did Loftus-Cheek manage his back? Very simply, he was very dedicated and started taking up yoga. Now he has his own specialist training regime. He works very hard to manage his back so that doesn't affect him. And I think we need to remember too that when he picked up that injury in that friendly, in that ill-fated game, that wasn't a reoccurring injury. That wasn't his back. That was his Achilles. That was an unfortunate foul and tackle from behind on a pitch that wasn't soft enough, where the ball was bouncing and bobbling non-stop. It was no surprise that an accident of that nature could possibly happen. We can't forget that before the season was suspended, Loftus-Cheek was very close to making his return back to the first team. I guess this extended period has really helped him out even more, because now he can fully focus on his rehabilitation, which he has been doing. And recently, you guys, in our friendly against Reading, where we beat them 1-0, and that friendly win a few days ago where we beat QPR 7-1. Loftus-Cheek scored a brace in that game. He's played both games, and from what I heard that he even played on the left wing against QPR, so that's very interesting in its own nature. But what we should be taking from this information, you guys, is that Loftus-Cheek now isn't a liability. He is fully fit, and because he's fully fit, he becomes a serious option for that first team. And he's good enough to win a spot over anyone. Ruben is highly respected by every player at this club. He's looked up to by the younger guys as well. He is becoming a role model, and it wouldn't surprise me if one day he was to take that captain's armband. When he gets back to the team, he's going to bring goal. He's going to provide that X factor which this team has missed since Eden Hazard. Right now, there's no need to be pessimistic in regards to Ruben. He's fully fit. We need to accept that reality, and his involvement in this first team is going to help us get more goals, get more assists, and help improve the team in general. We now move on to my fourth prediction, and my prediction is I feel like we are going to have an advantage when it comes to the new rule implemented by the Premier League to allow teams to use 5 subs. I feel like we're going to profit even more from this new rule. That's because most times when Lampard has used subs this season, they have impacted the game. And when you look at the nature of the team, we have a lot of players that provide different things. Throughout the context of games in this league, you guys, the tactical nature of a game can change like literally every 15, 5, even 30 minutes. And this will allow Lampard to be fully adaptable, fully flexible to find the best solutions in game. This new rule should allow us to keep our intensity even more. We do have a lot of guys returning back from long-term injuries. Your Pulisics, your Hudsons, your Rubens. Maybe it won't be the best thing during these times to allow them to play 90 minutes fully, but if you can get a good 40, 30 minutes from these players, that could be very effective too. Making subs in this way could allow us to keep our intensity for even longer throughout a game. This new rule will also benefit the younger players in the squad. You know, players like your Tino Angelins, players like possibly your Liveramentos, they could get that opportunity to get some decisive minutes near the end of games. For example, if we're fortunate enough to be in a position where, let's say we're 4-0 up with like 70 minutes to go, Lampard has the opportunity now to blood a younger player from the academy to help him get minutes. And you know, you guys, this really is an important strategy for the club right now. The reason why we can spend so much money is because we've introduced so many young players from our academy into the first team. It means that the player cost comes down dramatically, allowing us to spend more on players that we need positions filled. Of course, naturally being a top 4 club, it means that our squad is stronger than most squads in this league. So when we have the ability to make 5 subs in a game, basically swapping half our outfield players for other players, the quality we can bring on is going to be much better than other clubs in this league. But to be honest, I feel like the ability to make 5 subs is going to work so well in Frank Lampard's favour, because he is a very intelligent manager that likes to adapt on the fly. He has solutions for every single problem to you guys, so I feel like giving him an extra set of subs to use is really going to benefit us as this season reaches its end. And to give you guys my final Chelsea restart prediction, I'm predicting that we are going to secure a Champions League spot and get a 3rd place finish. Now, yes, I know that we have a difficult run of games, you guys. We honestly do. Our first 3 games against Villa, Man City and Leicester City, and after that we have games against Wolves, West Ham, Sheffield United and Liverpool, and also a resurgent Watford. Of course, this prediction is based on a lot of hunches I personally have. I feel like on Friday night United aren't going to get the win against Spurs, and I think that once we beat Villa, we're going to increase that points gap even more. And with how the players are feeling so confident, I'm hearing that the game against QPR, we were playing some beautiful, one-touch football, fast passing moves. And we've shown that against the big teams, we always step up this season. So the fact that we can have some added quality in the team is only going to boost our chances of securing that top 4 finish and getting a 3rd spot. But anyway, you guys, that's going to be me for today. They are my 5 Chelsea restart predictions. I hope you enjoyed. In the comment section below, give me your 5 predictions. What do you see happening? If you thought I was talking absolute nonsense, also let me know in the comment section too, you guys. I'm going to keep things moving. Thank you for watching. I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll see you guys later with some more videos.